I'm gonna wait just a couple of minutes, guys, get some guys on here so I can cover this real quick and then we'll be ready to roll. All right, we're starting to get some guys on here. All right, so one of the things that we're going to cover today is we're actually going to talk about installing the new Lowrance Ghost trolling motor. I'm seeing a lot of little nitpicky stuff that will cause a couple issues when people are installing them. So I want to cover those to make your life a little bit easier. Most of these things that that I'm actually going to cover are actually in the booklet. There's a couple things that's not in the booklet in the installation instructions. So I just want to sort of go over these real quick. That way, I'm going to put this on YouTube also. That way we can sort of go over it, and if y'all need to refer back to it, you can. So I'm going to flip you around and then we're going to go from there. All right, so first things first is once you actually go through, you have your cable mounted right here in these clips. If you look on the back side of each one of these, where the main cable clips into these, there's tiny little slots. These are made for zip ties, one on each side. So each clip has 2 zip ties. Okay, as you can see, that little slot on the back there. Now, one of the things that this will do, this will keep that cable from popping out. If you're up and down, every boat is just a little bit different, so you're not gonna have as much freedom. Like on the Phoenixes, you have no worries, no issues at all. Everything sits flush, in and out, no big deal. Skeeters, no big deal, unless you're running a dual graph situation, and then you may have to accidentally, or actually, I wouldn't say accidentally, but you're gonna have to reroute your cable a little bit, depending on which mount you are using. And you may have to twist your foot pedal, which this is with any trolling motor, a full rotation to the left or a full rotation to the right, depending on which way you're actually going. So the other thing that I want to show you, the main reason I'm doing this video is because I've had about 6 calls on it today. So is the mount. So the mount on a Phoenix, let me step away just for a sec, that way you can sort of see. You don't have any, you got a real thin mat right here that's on the Phoenix that is almost sits a little bit under the lip right there where this trolling motor mounts. The ones that we're actually seeing problems with, the biggest one is a Ranger, because they have that big thick mount. So what happens is right up here underneath the front, you're basically, when you're tightening it down, you're actually tweaking the front of the mount, and one side is actually tighter than the other one. So what's happening is it's putting that bracket into a bind, and whenever you're letting the trolling motor go and it's actually flipping over, what's happening is it's actually binding down at the bottom, and you're either having to push down on it to latch it in further, or it's not going all the way down. So the biggest thing that I want you to really take into consideration is we send these things with 1/8 inch, there's 6 of them, there's round rubber spacers. So one of the things you want to do is if you put a torpedo level on the end of the mount, and you don't have to let your trolling motor all the way down, you can bring it over to 45 degrees, lay your torpedo level on the end right here. Let me switch back over. So right here is where you're going to lay your torpedo level. Once that trolling motor's up, lay your torpedo level right here. You want that dead even, so you don't want your mount to be tightened down all the way over here and loose over here, or right the opposite. So that's one of the biggest problems that we're seeing is we're actually, because on the Rangers and the Tritons, the two biggest problems that we're having is they use that same big rigid mat right here. It's a non-slip rubber mat. So what that does, it creates a gap, you know, from there to the fiberglass. So whenever you're tightening it down, if you tighten one side down just a little bit further than the other one, it's actually going to tweak the mount and give it just enough. So when I say a little bit, I'm talking about less than 1/8 of an inch. So it's not a design flaw, it's an installation flaw. So like on a bullet, sometimes we actually have to shim, you know, the port side of the trolling motor because of the way a bullet is actually designed, because that bullet sort of nose, it sort of tapers off, you know, on the front. So with that being said, I just want you guys to sort of pay attention whenever you're doing that, because the calls that I'm getting is, hey, I'm letting my trolling motor over and it's actually not going all the way down, or I'm having to step on it to make it go down. If you're having to do that, one of the things that you may have to do is you want to check your level, of course, right there. Make sure it's level. What you may have to do is unloosen the outside bolt, the one closest to the edge, and put an 1/8 inch rubber spacer that came with the trolling motor on that outside edge, and then tighten it back down. Or it might be the inside. You're just going to have to look and see, you know, depending on your level and your torpedo level, to what you're going to need to do. So I just want you to, that's just something that I want you to keep in mind. Most of you guys are doing the installation yourself to keep us from doing it and us charging you to do the install. A lot of us are actually bringing it to us to actually do the install, or they're buying the trolling motor for us. We're taking all Ultrex off and we're putting it on, and that's one of the things that we've checked. So other than that, man, the Ghost is absolutely outperforming everything we've put it up against so far. Tit for tat. Spot lock is dead on. I've had customers that we've actually put on this past week, giving them the book, and, you know, tell them, hey, you're going to need to calibrate this. They still have not calibrated it, and their spot lock is dead on. I mean, and it's a totally different world when you come from an Ultrex to an Attrick Ghost, because you don't hear any of that racket up front. You know, you got a little bit of motor noise, just like you're going to have no matter what. But other than that, everything has been good. The reviews are raving on it. Super strong motor. The autocorrect when you pick it up is awesome. But that's just something I wanted to pass along to you. I hope this helps, addresses the situation. I'll save this video. I'll put it on YouTube. That way you can actually view it again. But the box that came with the Ghost, the little narrow box that had all your parts in it, you should have had 6 round. They're about 1 inch in diameter. What you're going to do, they're made for the spacers to go on some boats. So if you have any questions or any problems, you can always call us here at Tactical Sonar, tacticalsonar.com, or Paul at tacticalsonar.com. We'll be on the water. We've done one demo already. Probably going to do another demo here when this weather sort of straightens up a little bit, maybe after the first of the year and everybody gets back to work. But if you guys need anything, just holler at me, and we'll go from there. I appreciate you subscribing and watching, guys. Thanks for everything.